Is this thing on? Ah, it's the phone. My James Gunn hotline. He obviously wants his CGI dog back. Yes, hello, Mr. James Gunn. Yes, I've just received the Superman preview. Thank you very, very much. Yes, you can have your fake CGI fictional dog Crypto back. Yes, he's still got his little kryptonite necklace I borrowed from Lana Lang from Smallville. So I'm going to take the necklace off and you can have your little doggy. I'll let you know. Stop crying. Stop crying. I'll let you know what I think of the preview, the opening first minutes of Superman. Yeah, go away now. I'm busy. Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. I'm Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives. You can follow me on X, Twitter at Movies TV Mad, and on Instagram and on Threads at Movies TV Mad. X, you can follow me on TikTok, Mad Mickey's World, and on Snapchat, BMouth60 Mick, your host with the most. A very warm welcome to Friday's edition of the DCU Daily. Yes, we've got it. The preview to James Gunn's Superman movie, the opening 3.5 minutes or so. Haven't seen it yet. We read some description the other day on this channel, but I haven't seen it yet. So it's going to be very interesting to watch it with you. Now, I've checked. Apparently, I won't be copyright struck or anything like that. I'm not a monetized channel, so I'm not worried about that, as you all know. So let's check this out. This is so exciting because I love Superman. And if this is great, if this is successful, we're going to get so much Superman. He's going to be front and center in the DCU. And that's what I want. I want people to love this movie. I want this movie to be successful if it deserves to be. Now, let's see. Let's see what we got here. So obviously we've seen this before, but that's okay. They're going to show the full scene. I just love the way he's struggling to breathe like an asthmatic who's desperate for his inhaler. Now, a lot of people think that this is because of kryptonite, but what if he's faced a sorcerer or Zatanna and that's why he's so weak? Because we know that Superman has a weakness towards magic as much as kryptonite. So it's very interesting. He's bruised and battered. What happened? What? Oh my God!
Take me home. Home. Crypto.
This is great music by John Murphy. It's very CBM-like, it's very Superman-like. I like it. I did wonder. Oh, wow. The fortress is rising. Sorry if you can't see it properly. Wow, it does look pretty neat, doesn't it? Oh, yes, I love the door.
Level 4, 292 times Sahara Drive, please swallow.
Great music again, great music.
He's back.
Well, we've seen most of that before, but the opening sequence, let's discuss that. Well, they're certainly not giving away too much from this film. We've seen a little teaser, now we've seen that little preview. But what did I think of that preview? Please let me know what you thought in the comments. I'm really interested, genuinely interested to know what you guys thought. Genuine. Now, I know some of you really want this film to do well and you're projecting the positivity, and some of you really want this film to fail and you're projecting the negativity. But I want to hear comments, genuine comments, not what you want to see, not what you wished it was, but what you think on the footage we just saw. I really love the opening few minutes of this Superman movie because that's exactly what we're seeing here. And maybe it looks like we're not actually going to see what happened to Superman, why he fell from a great height, or will we? I don't know if that's actually the first bit we see from the movie or it's a snippet from the opening sequence of the movie. I'm not quite sure, but it could be sorcery that's done that damage. So we've seen him fall from the sky in the teaser. He crashes down. He's easing, he's easing. He's fighting to breathe. It's great sound effects. It's brilliant acting by David Cronsweet, who's always been a really, really good, capable actor. He's going to nail the acting, right? So he should. That's what he's been paid to do. But I think he's going to be a really good Superman and Clark Kent from the looks of it. So he whistles for Crypto. Look, I think it's all very cool, but the Fortress Rising I thought was amazing. I like the door. It's interesting, in Smallville, there was no door. In Smallville, in the Fortress of Solitude, and in the Christopher Reeve movies, there was just a doorway you could walk into. There's no security in the Smallville Fortress or the Christopher Reeve Fortress of Solitude, which is really interesting. In Arrowverse, in Supergirl, when Kara would go to the fortress, there'd be this big key that only her or Superman could lift up, which is great security, right? And that's from the comics as well. The robots are absolutely from the DC comics. They look brilliant. I love the bit when the female one goes, oh, he looked at me. That's brilliant. He's got this brilliant little relationship. And although, they claim they have no consciousness, we know that Superman does have a bond with them. They're the last thing he has from this planet, apart from Supergirl, which will be in this. Supergirl, Kara, will briefly be in this movie. We know that. We've spoken about that. But spoiler alert, she turns up in the fortress. She's drunk. She tells Superman, I let you look after my dog for a week and you couldn't even do that. And then she takes the dog. Right, we know that. That's happening. That's fact. Sorry to spoil that for you, but that's fact. Anyway, and so he's got this great bond with these robots. And we see that when one of them's collapsed to the floor and he's cradling it and he's holding the AI's hand. So he clearly has a bond, and that's cool. So it looks really, really comic booky, very, very cartoony in a good way. So I like it. You see, I'm not a one-size-fits-all type of guy. I'm the kind of guy who will watch something like Man of Steel BVS, the Snyder Cut, and respect the fact that the director took it seriously. But then I can appreciate, if it's a good film, if James Gunn's gone a little bit, cartoony, childish in places, with some humour, but at the same time, taking Superman and his supporting characters and this universe seriously. I don't need one thing to be, either serious or funny. It can be both things. So I love the Snyderverse. I love what Gunn's done with all his comic book movies. I love Peacemaker. That's my view. You don't have to agree. This is a democracy here. I don't mind you disagreeing as long as you're constructive and well-mannered, as I am. As you can see, I'm never rude, right? So that's fine. I'm just telling you what I think. So I love the bit in the fortress. I love the design of the Fortress of Solitude. I love the VFX. I love the CGI. And as I say, I especially love the robots. I love the way that they're kind of talking about his damaged bladder. So it's kind of realistic in that sense. And the way they shine the sun at him. And Grace Randolph, when she was watching it, she was saying some interesting things in her live hour feed. But when I watched the cut down, she was saying, oh, why is he screaming at the sun? Normally he loves the sun. Well, I would imagine that, and this is why he's screaming at it, he's in a weakened state, either from kryptonite or a sorcerer or whatever. So when the sun hits him, because he's still in a weakened state, he's screaming because it freaking well hurts, because the sun is bloody hot, Grace. That's why. So that was great. So I'm objective. I have objectivity. And it's difficult to have objectivity because I love DC, I love films, I love television. I love Superman. He's my favourite character in fiction. So it's not easy. Us Superman fans are a very difficult animal to please. Because one Superman fan will want one thing and another Superman fan will want another thing. We're a hard nut to crack. And quite right so. It's not a criticism by me. And I feel this is why television, Superman TV, has succeeded more than films in the past, because it takes time to develop a show and you get used to a show and you give it more time. A film's on for a couple of hours, 2.5 hours, right? So it's there and you just have to accept what you're watching on the screen. But yeah, so far, so good. We have to address the negativity from the audience at Comic-Con. They weren't impressed with the Superman Comic-Con, CinemaCon, sorry. I made the same mistake James Gunn made. That's what he said. He called it Comic-Con instead of CinemaCon. So you can see it's an easy mistake to make. But they were talking a lot. And they were doing things like, what character would you like to play if you weren't playing the character you were playing, and things like that. And it just seemed like more press junket rather than what would happen at CinemaCon. Ultimately, they didn't have a lot of footage to show, and they wanted to have a certain amount of time talking about Superman. And as we heard from that audio on here the other day, where Jeff Snyder was making fun of it, and he said he gave it the lowest grade out of all the CinemaCon panels. But at the end of the day, none of this interests me. I've spoken about the red flags with the DCU. We've seen some pictures from Lanterns. Again, Jon Stewart wearing civilian clothes and not looking very Green Lantern-y. But I will judge that on what I see when I see it. Now, as I've said before, I don't have access to Mac, so I don't know how I'm going to see that, if I can see it at all. But my only focus right now is this Superman movie. And I've asked the question, is he the right guy to write and direct a Superman movie, James Gunn? Well, look, he's a very fantastical writer-director, but he also has a huge narrative heart. And these are the good things about James Gunn. He likes to see people who are down on their luck, who have done the wrong things, become heroes and come together. And he likes the interactions and the pacey dialogue between characters. That's another positive from James Gunn. So as I say, I'm not here for any director. I'm not going to shield anyone from Hollywood. Not James, not Zach, not anyone. All I care about is Superman, and that it's done properly. That's all I care about at the end of the day. I would give this preview about 8.5, maybe 9 out of 10, because I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. I liked what I see. The only issue when you're kind of watching something that is the beginning of the movie, like the Dark Knight opening that we saw, when you go and watch it, oh, I've seen this, I've got to sit through this again. But the good thing is it's only a few minutes. So look, it's a little bit of footage we haven't seen before. That's exciting. Now it's about the main trailer. Now, if this is the curtain raiser of what we're going to get on Superman Day, then bring it on.